Superior, there we go. So good morning, Judge, and again, thanks for coming over.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning, Judge. So your budget looks pretty straightforward. If you want to run through some of the highlights of your budget.
Yeah, my budget really hasn't changed all that much with regard to anything other than the employment numbers. It's one of those where we've been pretty stable. I've also looked at what we spent so far, and it looks like, with the exception of two areas that we're pretty much in line with what we asked for. The two areas that are larger in the budget are interpretive services as well as psychiatric services. Again, as I sit before you today, I can't tell you that psychiatric services will be at the same level next year as they were this year. I've had years where we spent maybe $2,000 or less. Translation services I don't see going down next year. I see them either stabilizing or going up. I think there's some positive movement with regard to the numbers, and I look at that, and then this week on Monday, I think I had 4 new arrests that were Spanish-speaking individuals that I had to deal with along with the other 7. This afternoon, I have 2. So again, when I thought numbers were going down, this week they're not. It's having 6 additional new cases, and it's basically the same offense each time. It's operating a vehicle without ever receiving a license. And many of these folks, when they get their IDs, there are people outside that say, hey, we've got this international driver's license. You'll be good driving. Well, they're not good driving with that. I'm not sure how much they pay. My understanding is over $1,000 for one of these things, but it's a scam because they're not able to drive based upon that. And they'll ask, the officers will ask, well, do you have a license in your home country? The answer is no. So again, we've got a number of people that are driving on our roads that's not.
A fake ID.
Yeah, well, it's a fake driver's license, or it's a driver's license that has no effect. They get real IDs in order to work. That's been something they've been able to obtain, but the IDs are different than given the privilege of operating a motor vehicle on the roads. So anyway, interpreter services, I did get additional monies which you approved last time for us to use from the state. I'm going to ask them again for more money the next time for a grant. But the numbers I provided you I think are realistic. I'm not asking anything more than what I think it's going to take. It might take more depending on the year. This year, psychiatric services I think is the most I've had since I've become judge. And that was in 2015 when I started. So I'll take any.
Is there a program that I may have, that you brought up where with AI, using some sort of AI software they're experimenting with for interpretive services?
I talked to Bob Rath today, anticipating I'd get a question about that.
Yeah.
And they are still in the stage of verifying that AI instrument is actually going to test and do what the actual language is. They've got certified interpreters that are testing it. They've got 2 vendors that they're dealing with, and one is more promising than the other.
Okay.
When I talked to him today, we're going to talk again. We have a judicial conference during the middle of this month, and we're going to talk a little bit more further during that conference as to when it's actually going to happen. While I talked with him, I also talked to him about getting videos done. Been after this actually for quite some time, that do initial hearing advisement of rights, gives the advisement as to what type of penalties there are. And I'm trying to get that both in Spanish and Burmese, because we do have a number of people in Burmese that work at Antiva and also at Peyton's. My understanding that is close. I'm supposed to get a call from the person doing that today, but I've been in court until just now.
Okay.
So, my understanding, they hadn't called yet. But that will reduce by minutes somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes of advisement of rights, which calculates savings of money by not having to do that and having that interpreted. Because that 12 minutes, if I'm doing it and you're my defendant and I'm doing it and waiting on somebody to interpret, it takes about 24 to 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Instead of the 12 minutes to 15 minutes. So again, I'm trying to find ways, and my hope is that, at least not as far as my budget, but the probation budget is where we would see the savings if in fact this AI interpreter is going to be approved and work. And the Supreme Court's pretty stringent on, before they give this is working.
They need to be,
So,
yeah, to be safe. Well, just keep us up to speed on that, because I do think that that's
I am.
got to be a way of going forward.
I'm probably one of the louder voices in the judiciary trying to get them to move on this. All 5 Supreme Court justices know me by my first name. So,
All right.
I'll take any other questions.
Anything else for the judge? All right. All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you for your service.
Yep, thank you.
Sheriff, thank you for coming over early. You want to come on up?
Judge, you got quite the entourage.
Well, you know, they're my security detail.
Have a good day, sir.
Just to be clear, Sheriff, even though we're sitting this close to each other, neither one of us knew we were texting you. So I didn't want you to
Funny
think
because I got one from you, and then she texted me, and I was like,
Yeah,
how early?
right, yeah.
Like, can you come over early? And then I was to meet him. He's like, how early? Oops, sorry. I even hole punched it for you. That was a little tip. That was a little tip somebody.
Above and beyond.
A little birdie told me.
Above and beyond.
I got it.
Thank you.
Well, hopefully, this will be easier than most years because I spent a good portion of June and July going over pay increases and some other stuff. So I'm not going to spend any time on that. If we go through the cover letter here, I will take questions on that. I'm sure there may be some questions on that, but as you know, I got 3 budgets: the sheriff budget, the jail budget, and our lit budget. The sheriff budget, I highlighted any changes on there of significance. Obviously, the raises per the compensation schedule and the resolution you guys passed, 2025-05, to help with the cost of living, retention, and recruitment. I can speak on the sheriff's side just briefly. We are down 2 deputies, 3 come September 4th with the last person that's retiring. We are in the middle of a hiring process. We did interviews last night and Tuesday night. I know I had a brief conversation with Seth. We actually had 9 people that we interviewed, which is, I don't know, the last time we actually, that's 9 that made it through testing physical agility. We had more than that, but we actually had 9 people come through for interviews. Typically, we get interviews done in one night. It took us 2 nights to get them done, so just using the resolution as far as the recruitment and stuff, I felt like we had a lot better turnout. We had a lot better quality of candidates, and there is a possibility we may be able to fill all 3 positions in this one hire. So that would be nice.
Great.
So we're still in the works on that. Like I said, we just wrapped up the interviews last night, and we're currently got more testing processes that are involved in our hiring process, so hopefully that'll give us 3 out of that.
Do you know if it's starting next year, that if you take somebody from another organization that you get penalized? Is that starting, so this isn't part of this budget cycle, right?
It actually took effect July 1st.
Okay.
But if you look at the law, it's anybody that's hired after July 1st of this year.
Okay.
If we take them from another agency, that agency can petition for that agency to financially pay back the county they took them from. So if I hire somebody from another agency that's been there 3 years, that doesn't count. It's anybody that's hired after July 1st. That makes sense?
Yep.
Of this year.
So are you running into any of that with these interviews you're doing now or not?
No.
Okay.
Well, I have some laterals in the process, but none of them have been hired after July 1st of this year.
Okay.
They probably wouldn't even have been to the academy yet, so.
Okay. Sounds good.
But yeah, so that law it's prorated over 3 years. So if you hire somebody within their first year of employment after July 1st of this year, you're eligible to pay them 100% of the cost. And then second year is 66 something, and then it's 33%, and then after the third year, there's no, and really it's the agency has to petition. Now, if they don't petition, you wouldn't pay anything, but they have so many days from you taking them that they could petition for.
So it could add up more than what it cost them if it was a new recruit?
Well, they can, yeah, well, it just depends.
Okay.
They'd have to petition that agency for their salary. You know, if they worked there 6 months, haven't gone to the academy yet, they could petition for 100% of their salary for those 6 months, because they obviously put training and stuff into them, so. Yep, so we're hopefully looking pretty good on the deputy side. We're hurting right now because we are down 3 people, but we're moving along on the hiring for that. The deputy overtime I increased by $2,500 just to cover the increased pay. We did reduce the canine supplies down to 0 from 5,000. We currently don't have a canine dog right now. It's something we'd like to get back to. We retired a dog, we had a dog, that deputy quit, and then we sold the dog. So right now we're in limbo. Our focus right now is getting the hiring going before we focus too much on sending somebody to a canine academy and those type of things. It's something we'd like to get going. It's a great program, but I did reduce that to 0 for now. If something happens next year, we would come back to you and ask for it, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. Spillman maintenance fees, you guys see that on there every year. I remind you guys, last year it was $99,000 and change. That maintenance fee is for our records management system for the county. It's split, that fee is in our budget, and it's split between 5 different entities for the budget year. We pay for it out of our budget, they reimburse us, and it goes back to the general fund. So I am, just so you're aware, I submitted a contract to the commissioners. I've been working with Spillman because they regularly raise that 6% every year. I've been bugging them for the last several years that I think it's ridiculous that it's set that way. And they have offered a 5-year subscription, basically, that we'll lock into them for 5 years, and they'll hold our maintenance fees at $100,000 a year for the next 5 years. There'd be no increases. It would save us over those 5 years probably about $60-some thousand. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
So I'm just waiting on commissioners to give their approval for me to sign that, to lock us in. I've got with all the other entities, and they're all on board for me to be able to sign that. We are the host agency, that's why it's under our bill, and I'm the one taking care of it. So under service contracts, I supplied you with a breakdown of service contracts last year. I supplied that to you. That entails both the sheriff and jail budget. There's many things that we have in our budget that we have service contracts on. So that gives you the breakdown of that. It's got fingerprint machine, it's got body scanner, it's got our accounting software. There's many multiple things that we have. It's a bulk number, and so last year I supplied that to you so you could see the breakdown. I did put flock cameras back in there. I tested those 2 years ago, found them to be very, very beneficial to what we do in investigations. I did supply you with last year I gave you a breakdown of what we were able to, just kind of a snapshot of where we were at with flock cameras, how it helped us in investigations, how it led to the number of arrests, and those type of things. It is an additional system that helps us not only with investigations, but in my opinion is We have 6 cameras, and those are located in the most high-traffic areas of potential threats or things that we need to know about coming into our county through that. So I have funded that the last 2 years out of commissary. I feel it's beneficial. It fits the commissary statute. And that's why initially I didn't want to affect the budget with the initial use of it. We tried it out, proved it to be beneficial, very beneficial. Helped with a kidnapping of a girl that we were able to locate and such. So I would like to see that actually be a part of our budget. It is in the contractual service contract, sorry. So it's under service contracts for the sheriff's office. That's a bulk number of around $51,000 when you add up all the other things that are in there. So
What amount of that, Sheriff, do you see is flocked?
18,000. It's $6,000 per camera per year.
Okay.
So, any questions on the,
6,000 per camera. I thought you had 6 cameras.
I'm sorry, 3,000. My math is not mathing.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, thank you for. Any other questions on the breakdown of contractual or service contracts? Okay. The only other item in the budget was we reduced training and seminars by $4,000. We consistently are not using our training money. A lot of stuff's done online, and those things, back in the day when we had to send people to trainings and do hotels and, meals and those type of things, we tend to spend a lot more back in the days. I think we recognize that we're not spending our training funds the way we do, especially post-COVID where most everything's online now. So I reduced that by $4,000. The last item on there, this is my 7th year as sheriff. When I started court security part-time, we have a full-time person now, and we have about 4 or 5 part-time retired officers that do, retired or full-time officers that do the part-time stuff. When I started 7 years ago, their pay was $15 an hour. I think in my first year, I tried to get it to 20. We've raised that $1 every year until last year. It was only given a 3% increase, which only gave it a 60-cent raise. I think their current wage right now is $20.60 an hour. Just for reference, Lisa can correct me if I'm wrong. I checked this morning with Maria. 2060. Do you want to say I'm right out loud for the record? The paper can get it? Okay. So 2060, part-time police work for us, if somebody's requesting security or those type of things, it's $50 an hour for somebody that carries a gun, does security, those type of things. I'm not asking for $50 an hour. I'm asking for $25 an hour for that. I think that's still lower than what we would pay anybody. In that, I get it. Some people say they sit around and do stuff. You can ask the judges. You can ask the improvements that we've made in court security with adding Kurt Powell as the court security supervisor, the changes we've made. The commissioners invested in a new scanner down there that we just put in last week. They communicate, and we've come up with all kinds of security plans for the courthouse, doing rounds. They walk the buildings multiple times a day. They walk the perimeter, the outside. We're doing a lot of changes as far as the security of the jail. This is the part-time people, which, again, I don't have that many of them. This isn't a huge financial burden, I believe, on the general budget. So I'm asking for that to be $25 an hour. I'll get off my soapbox on that. So, any questions on the sheriff budget?
Yes.
Okay.
31001, the service contract ERS. Says you spent in '24 $3,300. We budgeted 8. What's the differential there?
What's the number again?
31001, your service contract ERS. I don't even know what that means. 31001.
The ERS is for the service contract for our radio console. Am I correct?
It is.
Yeah.
They bill us monthly, and I don't know exactly. It used to auto-renew every year, and then last year, it quit auto-renewing, so we went back to them and got it renewed. I can't remember the number. It has stopped auto-renewing again, so I need to get a hold of ERS. We need to determine whether it's beneficial or not, but, can you see how much it's so
31001, you spent $476
That's it.
as of June 30.
Yeah. I think the bill is only like $120 a month, maybe. I don't quote me.
We don't need $8,000 in that budget.
No,
what I'm
we
getting at.
could definitely cut that number.
Can we cut that down, Sheriff?
Yes, yeah, I'd be okay with that. We will
You
double,
think it's- yeah, how-
we will double check when we go back today, just to verify,
Yeah.
and then I'll tell you, if that's good, I'll tell you it's okay to cut it or not.
Give
Yep.
us a firm number if it's
Absolutely.
contractual.
Sure. Yeah, again, we don't do dispatch, but we are a backup to dispatch, so we still have operating consoles in our central control in the event that Bluffton needs them. We also do communicate through our console, through the jail, to our jailers on a different radio system, and we still can communicate with our deputies in the event that they need to, or, we need them to open doors, or we're transporting somebody to the jail, so. Other questions for the sheriff's budget? Okay, I'll move on to the jail budget. Again, just as far as the raises concurrent with the resolution 2025-05, I won't spend any time on that. You guys heard me talk about that enough. I did, Steve will be happy here, I did not ask for 2 additional jailers this year.
First time for everything.
It is the first time for everything. According to the study, we still need more jailers than we have, but you want to ask me your question this year? How many jailers am I short?
Are you short any jailers?
1 jailer. So we are actually in really good shape for the jail. We have 2 in training right now that are getting ready to be done, being trained, and as soon as we're done training them, we're going to hire the last one. We can only train so many people at one time, so it's really turned around for us. In the jail, the staff that we've hired has been, the turnover has been way down, and we've retained some good staff over the last 6 to 8 months, and so we're doing really good there and building it back. So hopefully here soon, we should be fully staffed in the jail. Usually we're fully staffed in deputies and short in the jail, and now it's kind of flip-flopped.
Pays to be nice to people.
Huh?
Pays to be nice.
It does. Just remember that, Karen.
That's all I care.
Yeah, so I figured with everything else, the bulk of what I'm asking for in the budget obviously is the pay increases, so, I kept those jailers out this year. We did increase overtime again, just like I did in the sheriff budget, to help cover the increased pay. And then obviously it's not the same. The contractual services, I still, with county's IT, am not in a position for them to take over. I come to you guys several times I contracted that IT service through Reliance IT, which is, the city of Bluffton uses them. We contract, and Dave Teeple comes out. He works part-time for Reliance. He knows all of our stuff. He does all of our stuff. For the budget for right now, if we get to a point where the county can handle doing our stuff or learning our stuff, at this point, we're not in a position to do that. I am happy with the service that Reliance gives us. That's that $3,300 a month.
Why can't the county do it? Is it a lack of capacity?
No one at the county has told me that. I think when they moved out, when Dave moved out of that position, and they brought on a new person initially, when Dave left the first time, I actually hired Dave part-time.
I remember that.
Right,
Yeah.
we created a part-time IT position at that time, because to me that was, it was more beneficial because he knew it and could handle it, and I've never gotten to a point where they've hired a part-time person and could handle and learn what we do. We were kind of, second on the list. the courthouse is their priority, not the jail. They work out of that building. We always have to call them, and so that's why I created the position. And the first time, well, then Dave came back, and when Dave came back into the courthouse, I had asked them to dedicate 2.5 days a week for him to come out there to the jail and do it. And he already knew it and everything else, and it was fine until Dave left again. Dave's the problem, and I mean that as a joke, but Dave is the problem. Dave is too good at what he does, but Dave also is one that, there's so many things IT-related in the jail when it comes to, fingerprint machines, body scanners, computers, consoles, all the things that go on in jail, cameras, that we do. I've been, and then Reliance works with Bluffton, so they're familiar with our Spillman system and everything else. I would like to continue doing that for right now. I just, with everything else going on, I have not sat down with Roger to see if that's something
Okay.
his new guy is even capable of doing, or, what their workload is at the courthouse. I have not done that, so instead of coming for.
Bluffton source that out then to those same guys?
Yes, Bluffton PD in the city, yes, they do, they can contract with Reliance to do all their stuff.
That's what they do.
Yep. So, I'm very happy with the work they do. Dave's available to us. We contract with them for so many hours a week, and then we have 24-hour support, which I would not have with the courthouse. That's another plus with contracting with them, is I have 24-hour support with Reliance. We're a 24/7 operation, the courthouse isn't. To get a hold of Roger or the new guy on a Saturday or Sunday when the jail's dealing with issues or something's down, it's just not feasible for what we do, so that's what that's for. Service contracts, again, just like the sheriff's budget is broke down on that form I gave you, the things that are related to the jail, in that service contract line. If there's any questions on that, I will answer them as well. There's, just things that I don't see anything that's.
Are you using your training and seminars budget? In 24, it says only $222 was spent.
On the jail?
On the jail side.
Which one is that one?
30,900.
We don't use it a lot.
Yeah, we dropped it last year.
We are
But-
It
required-
says we had a $3,500 budget.
We are required to have a training budget, but again, since COVID, all of our jailers.
What do you think is appropriate?
Well, you've expended 33, almost 3,400.
Mhm.
Okay, this year we have?
Yep.
Okay, we don't have that.
I think it's appropriate. We dropped it last year to what we thought was
Okay.
appropriate.
It just shows last year we
That's the
only,
sheriff. I'm sorry, I need to look at the jail,
jail, yeah.
sorry.
Right now, it says, on this sheet I have, says $139, but that was, unless you have a more current one.
Well, yeah, I just did June 30th,
We could drop it down if,
$139.
I think we could easily drop it down to like $1,000 just to cover if we do send someone.
Okay.
I mean, we always, it'd be good to have the budget line item and something in it, but if we go over the $1,000, we could easily pay for it out of commissary if we have to.
Yeah.
Or additional.
Yep. Yeah, I probably wouldn't cut it more, I'd just pay for it out of commissary, so.
So make sure it's an appropriate
Yep.
dollar amount there.
It wasn't worth putting on there, but trash hauling, we always expect a little bit of increase in our trash hauling, so that's $600 added to the budget. Other than that, there was no other increases to the budget. Lit, there was no change. You guys take medical, there was a 6% increase in our medical services, I believe. We try to leave a little bit of a gap in there for medical or any unforeseen medical bills that we get outside of, if an inmate goes to the hospital and those type of things. We still feel like there's room in there for that, and if not, we can always come and ask for an additional out of that, which we've done in the past. Vehicles are the same, everything else that's in there, utilities, I mean, we usually come ask if we need more utilities and those type of things, which I don't think we have for a while. So,
And council, one of the things I spoke to the sheriff about, Lisa and I also had a conversation about, is that we could move approximately 250,000 of salaries, being that the bulk of the increase in wages are going to be via what we agreed to previously. We could move that over to public safety lit. There's enough resources in that fund, they accumulate enough, they could absorb that. So as we have to make cuts to the budget, we could shift that from general over to public safety lit, if we decide that that's something we want to do. So just keep that in the back of your minds.
So if we would do that, would we just increase the budget on the lit?
Yeah, it'd be just move over to lit.
is it because it's already submitted, we'd have to ask for an additional?
Yeah.
Yes, we would have to do an
I was-
additional, but we could do
I was
that.
asking for next year's budget. If we already have it, would we want to do that, or we would want to wait and have him ask for
I've already
additional?
advertised.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
we advertise, we have to just do an additional to shift over. And my understanding is DLGF will still allow us to pass the budget that way, correct?
Well, we'll have to reduce
With
it
the
in the
additional-
general fund. so
right.
that- And then,
Move it over with the additional to the public safety lit.
yes,
So-
we won't even say a word
Yep.
until next year.
Okay.
Does that make sense, if that's the way that we can get that accomplished?
Yeah, however you guys choose to do it, I mean, you don't need my permission to do it. I mean, that's
Right.
what you guys choose to do and see beneficial, but, any questions? I know I didn't talk about, I mean, we spent a lot of time talking about the pay increases, the matrix, and all the reasons for wanting to do that. I appreciate the fact that you guys didn't want to do that mid-year and set the precedence. So, again, the resolution that you guys passed has been well-received, not only from internal staff, but by recruiting and the stuff that we've had to do. I've already seen a change in that as well. Is there any questions on those increases or the layout of that proposed increase for next year? I mean, when is your other budget hearings?
Wednesday next week.
9th and 10th.
Yeah.
Okay. 3rd, 9th, and 10th. Okay. I mean, if there's additional questions, I can attend the 3rd. I'll be gone on the other ones, but,
Okay.
but if there's any questions, I can answer those as far as wages. You know, I did hear that ASEAN, and talked to their chief, ended up on a call with them the other day. Their base salary is going to be, according to him, is going to be 66,000 and some next year, which is, I mean, good for them. But, yeah, I know, not complaining at all. I think that, I think what we proposed is really beneficial. It's good. It covered all areas. Again, Chief Deputy, you know, I know that these were questions. I'm going to address it even though you guys
Yeah.
aren't. Chief Deputy and Jail Commander, I know Seth has talked to me. I've yielded questions in the past. I've asked for those positions to be paid the same. You know, I can't speak for every jail, and every jail I deal with or any sheriff I talk to, the Jail Commander and Chief Deputy have different roles. There's no cookie cutter responsibility job description for a Jail Commander and a Chief Deputy that we all follow in 92 counties in the state. I just know the 7 years that I've been Chief Deputy, Jail Commander, or 7 years I've been Sheriff and Chief Deputy for 9 years, I know that the Jail Commander and the Chief Deputy, you know, they don't do the same job, but they are equally important to the county. They're the two people that help protect the hugest liability to this county when it comes to inmates or people that carry guns and deal with people on the streets every day. They both work hard. They're both non-exempt employees, so they don't get overtime. The schedule, and I just reiterate this, the schedule that we put into place is really set on the layers of the structure of rankings that we have within the jail and the sheriff's office. So you take, for example, a chief deputy, the rank below him is a detective lieutenant, and if that person has got 20 years on, they're only making about $4,000 less than the max a chief deputy can make. So when you're looking at that number, that's the 20-year mark on those positions, right? I did have two 25-plus year people in those positions. One retired. This one behind me is probably going to retire in the next year or two, if not earlier. And so you're not gonna have a 20-year person in that position, so don't be stuck on that end number. That end number is less than 70% of my pay, and I think that they deserve it. Back to this detective lieutenant, a detective in themselves works a lot of overtime, so it's very easy for a detective to make more money than the chief deputy very easily with overtime. With the chief deputy and jail commander being salaried positions, so to speak, because they don't get overtime. And I guarantee you they put in a lot more hours than what's required of them. So please factor that into, if you're looking at it, I know that was a question of concern. I don't think it's ridiculous. I looked at other counties, a jail commander can make anywhere from $58,000 to $127,000 in the state. The studies we get doesn't give us whether they're on a matrix or a range. It could just be a person that's in that position. Because if you take, if Karen retires and we put a 10-year jail commander in there, they're not going to make $90,000. So, and the same with chief deputy. Randy Steele just retired and we put A.J. Campbell in there. He doesn't have 20 years on. So I can only speak for our jail. I've been there 22 years, and I can tell you the way we set it up and the responsibilities that they have, there's no reason that the jail commander should make less than the chief deputy. I think traditionally they look at, well, one's a cop and one's not. Well, they're totally really important positions within that department. And for our jail and in Wells County, you take, for example, I know for a fact Jay County pays their jail commander, their chief deputy makes $92,000, their jail commander makes $58,000. Do you want to know how many jail commanders Jay County's been through in the last 8 years? How many? 6? At least 6 jail commanders. They can't keep anybody. Every time I talk to the sheriff down there, they got a new jail commander. And it's usually some 23, 24-year-old person that has zero experience. We're fortunate to have the jail commander that we have and the years of, she's been through 3 sheriffs now and has been doing it for 16 plus years. And that increase isn't just for her. I think those positions and the person following her is going to have big shoes to fill and big responsibility to fill for our county. So please factor that in. I'll be at the next meeting, but I can't attend anything past that. So if you have any questions to those, I'll feel free to ask at any point or give me a call or whatever.
Sounds good.
Any questions?
Any other questions for Sheriff?
Again,
Thank you, sir.
thank you for all the work you guys did, resolution, those type of things. If I can help in any way.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Madison, if you want to go ahead and come on up.
Hi,
Good morning.
I'm Madison. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So I'm just going to start. Disregard the first page right away.
Okay.
Budget are we in?
Community corrections.
Community corrections. The community corrections in the general fund, project income, and the grants, and misdemeanor are all, these are what was submitted prior to the grant funding being developed and all of that. Your first sheet, the Community Corrections Advisory Board formed a subcommittee for budget. And this is the budget that was approved by the budget committee, hasn't been approved by the advisory board as of yet. But you can see in the general fund, it's the first. The grant is the second. The new grant amount is $155,535. The grant that was budgeted originally was $220.
Okay.
Project income, it was $151, and we reduced it to $134. So this is what the budget committee for community corrections approved. So if you approve this, we will be rearranging all of the other budgets to match this. Does that make sense?
So the 155, you said?
150, if you
So-
look at project income, what was submitted to council was 150,
151,518.
yes. If if you look at your sheet behind that budget, you can tell that it's overextended by $14,000. This cuts that budget by $17,000, so it'll be fundable.
So it will be fundable?
Yes,
Okay.
it'll be fundable, same with the grant.
But we are dipping into project income in order to sustain that. Or, I'm working on a memory that's about 3 months old here,
Yes,
on where we settled on these numbers.
yes,
I remember we had 2 budget possibilities we
Yes.
were looking into.
yes.
We settled on the one that puts us in a slightly more precarious position.
Correct. There should be reducing salaries. We've eliminated some positions in that office. Should have approximately $30,000 from the current budget funneling into the 26 budget.
But when I say dipping into project income, I mean, we're spending down project income in order to fund this budget.
Somewhat. They're still gonna have an operating balance, but it's not gonna be huge.
Right.
As they increase maybe their offenders,
Right, we have some optimism
Yes.
that the program will,
Expand.
yes.
yes. So, one notable difference on the budget you're looking at right now is that the entire director's salary comes from this budget, comes from the general fund. It's no longer split between the grant, project income, and the general fund. The total burden on the general fund was reduced by $37,000.
Correct.
So similar to Colin, in the name of transparency, we've tried to reduce sort of where these numbers were all being presented. In the past, the director's budget, or the director's salary was split 3 ways among 3 budgets. It's all coming from the general fund now. With that said, Lisa, do you have anything more to add? Okay.
No.
So the key is on the general side, we went from a adopted budget in 2025 of 134 down to 97.
Yes,
Yes.
but with the adjusted, it's gonna go up to 99,996. Our budget committee really wanted to keep it under 100.
Yep.
So,
They did a good job.
reducing- Yeah, we moved some other miscellaneous costs over into the general fund from project income and the grant, just to make everything work.
Okay.
So the general fund budget that was submitted will go up slightly, the others will go down.
So on Tuesday or Wednesday, will we get the new numbers that add up to the 99 in the general budget then?
Yes.
'Cause that'd be good to see, just to have that sheet that shows that it's 99 and not 97. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I can't really do that in the system until we do all of it.
Okay, okay.
We can take the difference, and just add that on to the whole, but I can't
That's fine.
increase the general fund.
So as we sit now, maybe you can answer this. We have a director, do we have, what's the rest of the staff?
So we've got the director, myself, we have the 2 field officers and the admin.
And the admin, so we have 4 altogether.
Yes,
Those are all full-time?
yes.
Okay.
What was that like previously? How many did we have?
How far back?
Like last year, like,
It was up to 7. And I want to say it was 6 full-time, 2 part-time. No, maybe it was up to 8.
okay. So it's been right sized is what I'm getting at. Is that a safe assumption?
Now,
Yeah,
yes and no.
okay.
As we get bigger,
You need to hire-
it probably won't, but that's to be determined when that will happen.
But if you get bigger, that means you have more caseload, which means it self-solves with more revenue.
Correct.
Okay.
What is the caseload currently?
There are 25 on, and that's a mix between home detention and pretrial.
Okay.
So am I seeing this right, that the director's in the general here? Where are the other 3?
One is in Well,
we
all
go
three
back
are
to
in the
project?
grant, and then misdemeanor pays a portion of one of the field officers' wage.
Because I'm seeing zeros for
In the
2000.
bottom, yeah. Well, that's, you need to look at this,
Go back to that one.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's project.
Yes.
that'll be out
So,
of project income.
The grant is
Oh,
listed
okay,
first
okay,
for
okay.
the general
I'm with
fund, and
you.
then the grant, then PI, then misdemeanor.
Okay.
And then down here it has all of the
It's
wages.
just so I'm understanding.
Right, that's what's a little
Directors
confusing.
in general here, and then the other three are in.
Grant.
Okay.
Lisa, can you remind me, so in the matrix for the director, the salary is what number?
It's 73.
73 and change.
73, yeah.
In our budget, it's showing 83 and change.
That's because the last director was 20 years.
Oh,
So wouldn't the requested budget, shouldn't that reflect the new salary?
The 73.
73?
Yes, we put 75 as a, because she'll get.
So I see that on
Year
the,
to year,
she'll-
she'll get an increase.
okay. So this
This sheet is
It's just
not really relevant.
Yeah, it's not relevant.
That sheet is not relevant. So,
So when you said skip the first page, you meant,
I meant initially skip the first page, we're gonna talk about the
okay.
initial budget.
So there's more than just one issue with this page.
Yes.
Okay.
and just to back up, you said that this was approved by,
By the budget committee,
But
but
not-
not the advisory board as of yet.
so does this have to be approved from the advisory board before we can approve it? Because like the 911 PSAP is, we can't approve anything until
They should approve it.
the
before-
committee and the
Yes.
board does.
I
So,
think their next meeting is the 10th.
10th.
and when's our last budget meeting?
The 10th,
So we'll know on our 10th if they've approved it.
yes.
Because am I right that we can't approve that really until they've done it?
Yes, I don't know why they wouldn't approve it, but yes.
Well, I want to make sure we're following the right.
Yeah.
Well, there is still a discussion to be had by the broader committee. I know that the motion that was passed is that both budget options would be presented to the full committee. The budget committee approved this one, but there is another budget that's a little bit more trimmed down that this broader CCAB is going to consider. So we will want to, we'll have to get that report brought to you on that meeting. But those CCAB meetings are first thing in the morning. What time is our?
We would be
follow-up?
6 o'clock, I think. So as long as it's ready by the time that
It'll
we're
be-
ready.
It'll be ready, and then we can make a decision.
Because like that, I hate for us to go through the motions and we find out they meet later and they adopt a different budget than what we did. I don't want to mess in this. So if we have to wait until
The
then.
main difference would be project income, it will be reduced. Project income would be.
Okay. Our 99 is going to stay where it is either way. Okay.
It might be reduced a bit, so.
So stay
anything
tuned.
that- Yes, anything that would be passed other than this would be for lesser amounts than this.
lesser.
Okay.
We're looking at the higher.
So we would be, so it wouldn't be a negative, it'd only be a positive impact. Okay. All right. So stay tuned.
Yep.
Is that the best way to phrase this right now, Lisa? Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Madison.
Thank you.
Let's go ahead, because we did get a little bit out of order. Eric? You want to go ahead and come on up, because you're supposed to have been. We'll get to you too in a minute. Okay. Good morning, Eric.
Good morning.
Soil and water. There we go. Yeah, again, don't know how much more straightforward your budget is. You're asking for a 3% raise and that's it, right?
I think, yeah, the salary was a 3% piece, the office supplies were left the same as last year, I mean, that's pretty minimal.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, if there's questions about other programs, things like that, I'm happy to help. The budget's pretty straightforward.
I don't have any questions.
And this is just Lynn Huffman's salary.
It's just Lynn.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just Lynn in the office and the office supplies that she works with.
All right. Well, thank you for coming over.
Hey, not a problem.
Appreciate it.
Glad you guys could have an easy short one.
Yeah, thank you.
Not a problem.
Steve, we're waiting for the judge then? Yeah. Okay, let's go run the restroom.